This is one of the Durbar or palace squares in Kathmandu. They represent the three old cities of Nepal. They charge 1,000 Nepalese rupees each to enter, and they are indicative of the palace and temple communities of the time. They're all surrounded by many shops selling religious ephemera, pashminas, all sorts of things that are very colourful and non-traditional. This is Pashupatinath Temple and Crematorium, which had a rather festive atmosphere. You can purchase food and treats as you view the ceremonial funeral pyres and pay for photographs. The Maya Devi Temple in Lumbini is a significant pilgrimage destination for Buddhists, as it is recognised as the birthplace of Buddha. Adjacent to the Maya Devi Temple is the Lumbini Peace Park, which has a Disney-like landscape with its Buddhist temples built in the sponsoring nation's architectural style. The murals, frescoes and mandalas reflect the life of Buddha and his teachings.
Tourism increases throughout remote Himalayan villages, these communities become increasingly subjected to the processes of modernisation. Greater contact with wealthy trekkers and mountaineers from developed countries has exposed mountain communities to technologies, fashion, as well as cultural customs and thoughts previously unknown to them. Additionally, as mountain tourism has gained a stronger foothold in the Himalayas, the economic bases of mountain communities have altered dramatically, rapidly shifting from societies based on collectivism to ones that are thoroughly capitalist. As Western tourism and the market economy become more prevalent, traditional clothing, food, and customs are replaced by their Western counterparts. Over 90% of trekkers in Nepal go to the Everest, Annapurna, or Langtang regions. As such, the differences between these three communities and those less visited by tourists are particularly pronounced. Villages off the major trekking routes are typically subsistence economies, wherein money and labour exchange are foreign concepts, and families take advantage of their local resources to meet their basic needs. Whilst 50 years ago, most villages had little contact with the wider world, these days the major villages on trekking paths feature the likes of Irish pubs, German bakeries, and a large number of lodges and guest houses, all of which have been established to service the needs of international tourists. The vast majority of villages in such communities are now employed, at least seasonally, in the tourism sector. It is impossible to ignore the social and cultural changes that tourism has brought to affected communities. Though the changes are pronounced, many community members argue that tourism has provided a net benefit for their cultures. As Greater Nepal is becoming increasingly westernized, some Sherpas have argued that tourism has provided them with an incentive to maintain their cultural customs and traditions, as many trekkers flock to the Everest region to experience the authentic Sherpa culture.
In the lowlands of south-central Nepal lies Chitwan National Park. It It is well known for its biodiversity in dense forests and grassy plains, a safe haven for many bird species and water species, the Bengal tiger and the one-horned rhinoceros. Until the 1950s, the park was a closed hunting ground for the ruling class, and the rhino population declined to a mere 95. By the 1950s and the 60s, the now accessible park was becoming cleared for unplanned tourism. In 1973, the park was established, and by 1984 it was granted World Heritage status. It is now estimated to be 600 rhinos in the park. We were privileged to see just one. While there are in excess of 30 resorts and hotels in Chitwan, we chose to stay at Nana Jungle Lodge in Amultari. Nana takes sustainability seriously, environmentally, socioculturally and economically. Here the furnishings and the murals depicting local life are made and painted by local villagers. The CEO here explains more.
Can you tell us about some of the sustainability practices implemented here at Nana Jungle?
We've looked at sustainability from two aspects, one environment and one social. We're kind of trying to reduce the impact that we have on the environment. In regards to the community, we've got a community engaged in most of the things that we do. We have our guests engaged from the point we start interactions with them. We let them know that one big part is going to be engaging with the community, helping the community, and we give them options where they can choose on how they engage with the community, which has helped us really keep a large part of our income in this community, really help the economy here grow, help the employment here become more engaged, more qualified, it opens a lot more doors for them on the internet having engaged with us. What we tried to do when we came to this village in Ontario was we tried to bring in as many local people as we can, and we really tried to listen to them. Because the agriculture society here in Nepal, or in Ontario, where there's a Tharo village that's been there for 200, 300 years, living in a very sustainable way with a community, they already had a lot of practices that kind of were sustainable. They already had a way of looking at things that were sustainable. And we found a lot of things that we wanted to bring in were already here. All we had to do was really talk to them, listen to them, ask them how they did things, and kind of try and implement that a little bit. And that has gotten us really on our way.
Very much for your time, Becky. Much appreciated.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
The commodification of culture through tourism has had a profound effect on Nepalese communities throughout the country. Whilst we can pinpoint many negative examples of tourism affecting culture, it must be noted that tourism can play the opposite role, preserving and benefiting local cultures. Local community leaders should play an active role in promoting their culture through sustainable tourism initiatives. Additionally, external parties such as policymakers and tourists must treat local cultures with respect and recognition, and must abstain from engaging in practices that undermine local customs and traditions. Above all, the voices of communities must be heard, allowing them to exercise their right to self-determination.